Hi, welcome to The Cultural Barrier. My name's Bal.
My name's Taj.
On this week's episode, we will be talking about the three generations and the three worlds. What we're trying to get out of this episode is, we've lived with our grandparents, with our extended family, essentially, with our parents. They were kind enough to let us live with them. And then our kids. They're lucky to live with us, right? So what is the sort of similarities that you found? What are the differences? What are the traditions that we can pass down, and what are the things that we should leave behind and kick to the curb, girlfriend? So let's go all the way back. Dream. So obviously we grew up with our grandparents. In fact, you've got a photo of Granny and us, and I think I've got a photo. I would get up. The only thing is I'm wearing do you want to see what I'm wearing? All right, fine. That's our Granny. I would pick up. Shall I pick it up? The only thing is,
don't be wearing shorts or something.
No, I'm not. But I'm wearing some really. I mean, there's the joy of home working.
Just pick it up. I don't think.
Okay. All right, give me 1 second, because I've got my really warm pajama on. Right. Okay, so this is. Oh my god. House is falling apart. So we lived with our grandparents.
I thought you said we lived in the garage.
No, we lived with our grandparents, right? So that's the house of your graduation, right?
Pretty full picture, but anyway, yeah.
That is a full picture. So we were the family that was quite big, because there's 3 girls, 1 boy, the grandparents. So if you were going to...
we used to have a lodger as well, do you remember?
We did. Chingy Sivachari, God rest her soul. She was fantastic. And obviously, if you wanted to invite us, you had a full family to come with. So we bring the party, is the point I'm trying to make.
We were like a typical packed household.
We were a party, right? If we were going to come, you were going to know we come. Although I went to someone's house, I won't mention whose it was, right?
And they're going to know.
I went round, and the person said, when I come in, you know that I'm here. Now, we don't get on that well, so I actually thought it was really rude. It wasn't nice.
Did you stink or something, or sog?
I think to be fair, I think it's the energy. If I come, I'm like, I'm here! The hills are alive with the sounds of music. I know the sound's getting really high. But anyway, I don't really do that in people's houses. I do come in like a normal person. But I think it is energy, right?
I think that's good.
Well, I don't know. She obviously didn't like it. So anyway,
whatever.
The point is, we're brought up with our grandparents. What did we go through with our grandparents? Then we'll go through our parents, and then our kids. All right, chill out. I mean, we did like them. What the hell? Anyway, go on. You haven't really spoken yet. Go for it.
Yeah, you do talk a lot. And maybe that's what the person meant.
I didn't talk to her that much. It's fine. I mean, I don't talk to her at all now. So.
I enjoy it. No, it was good fun having our grandparents in the house. They used to do all the cooking, cleaning, so that means we didn't have to. So that was the best.
Yeah.
We used to do all the washing. Granddad used to hang out all the washing. I mean, our household was not sexist. The men and the women, they both worked.
Yeah. There's so many of us, I mean.
Actually, the women done more of the cooking, but it wasn't always the women that done the cooking. But the men did get served first, and the kids. All right, it was okay. It wasn't like men are gods sort of thing. But anyway, I'm digressing from the point. So I think there was a mixture of feelings. There was the bad, not the bad as in they were horrible, as in there were appointments to go to. And
okay, you can see the difference between me and Taj. She went for there was the bad. I would have gone with there was the good.
No, but I started off with the bad so you can finish off with the good. There was the good because it was fun, because you used to, you were really close with Granddad.
Yeah.
And our dad doesn't like playing card games because he always thinks it's related to gambling. So you and our younger brother always used to play cards in their room.
Yeah.
And it was fun. And Granddad used to read this book that he used to always tell us about different stories. So it was really good growing up with them, making sure that we spoke Punjabi because they only spoke Punjabi.
Yeah.
So that was really good. And we learned a lot of life lessons, and we learned to be compassionate, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. And we learned how to speak to the older generation, which now I know that I can speak to any age group because we've been with the older generation and we can have a laugh with them. It's not like, oh my God, they're old, let's avoid them sort of thing.
Yeah.
We want to be around the older generation because we enjoy being around whatever generation because we've been brought up like that. Whereas
The only thing was
Mm.
with the stories, right? The stories are fine, except when he got dementia. And the jokes.
Yeah.
And the jokes were funny until, obviously, with the dementia, you heard the same story literally 20 times in a day because he'd forgotten that he'd already told us. But we'd laugh. I mean, after the 20th, after the 19th time, you would be like, hey, this isn't funny anymore. And that is the truth. I mean, it did get hard. Like, if we'd, walk past the room and we had stuff to do,
You run.
Granddad would call us because the bed was right in front of the door. Now, that might sound harsh, but that is the reality of living with someone with dementia. So the positives, I agree, we were brought up with our grandparents.
Can I just touch on that while we are talking with older people? Now, people that are our generation and stuff like that, and they're living with their parents, I think they're finding it hard because, like, our parents, to a certain point, as they get older, they don't care about social etiquette anymore. They will be horrible if they need to, and I think that's cool. But they will be stubborn as well, and sometimes that gets a bit annoying, and you don't mean it in a horrible way, but it's like, why aren't you listening? I'm trying to do this for your own good, but you're just not listening.
Mm.
And I think that's what our generation now are. We want to be like humble and we want to still listen to them and we don't want to be rude. Whereas I think the younger generation would be like, get out of here, you're getting on my nerves. Whereas we wouldn't do that.
Yeah. I agree.
We're like really battling with our emotions because we're like, oh my God, you're so annoying. But we're like, oh my God, I feel so bad for feeling like this. But again, the younger generation would be like, get out of my face. I don't care. I'm not listening.
But you say the younger generation. What is the younger generation? Because I don't think it's that much younger than us.
You're just making yourself feel better.
No, I genuinely mean that. I think you're right in the fact that having lived with them, we were more compassionate, we were more empathetic, and we could take a lot more than someone that hasn't. And we could put up with a lot more. We did have to go to hospital appointments. As people are getting older, they do get iller. We as grandkids did go. I mean, we were having this conversation with someone, yesterday, the day before, whereas we did have to translate things that we didn't understand, whether it was medical appointments, whether it was other things we didn't have a clue about. And so there was that pressure. And I swear they used to have so many appointments. And
to the point that we used to take it in turns, and there were 4 of us who were like, okay, my brother, he was too young to go, so he was not in the turn thing. So it was the 3 of us. It's like, your turn? No, I went last time. No, it's your turn.
What is the A&E thing? As soon as you had to go A&E and you had to do a long wait, you're like, oh, I don't want to. Don't make me do it. And this is when obviously you had 6 or 8 hours they had to be seen. I mean, now, oh my God, if I had to do that again and it was longer than, oh my God, everything.
Just stay at home. Let's see what happens.
So, I mean, what other stuff? So dementia, and that's something that we weren't aware of at the time. Depression. Oh my God, yeah, the depression. And we were very young when we had to deal with these things.
And we didn't know anything about all these things. So
everybody was like that. Like, everyone had a depressed family. I mean, to be fair, nowadays everyone does, to be fair.
But yet, we went through all of this stuff and it sounds so bad, but yet we laughed through, not while they were going through the episode, because that's just cruel. But we were very generally a jokey, laughy family, even though we have been through so much. Like, hell, we've been through so much.
Yeah.
But we still kept it light, as in...
I mean, we did some...
Maybe we got something wrong with us.
We did some proper dumb thing. I remember once, right?
I know you were going to say.
Which one were you going to say?
About once when we got the phone lead. Okay, we need to explain it because obviously our listeners are like, what the hell are they going on about?
So, Granny used to have chronic depression. It was for a long time. We did know it was depression. She was on medication, but at this point, it got really bad. And we were at home and our
parents were out at this time.
I mean, remember, our parents had to work. they were making a living. So regardless of what people then turn around and say, why were, a depressed
My granddad was there as well, so it was okay.
Yeah, he
But he wasn't always depressed. It was like
episodes. But we were young kids, right? But it's fine because our parents had to work, right? That was the social economical sort of situation. It was that. And she was about to phone someone and in one of her episodes, and we cut the phone wire. And I told Sook, my husband, about it. He's like, why didn't you just take the lead out? I haven't got a clue. Why would
the reason why we wanted to stop her phoning was because she was going to say, "Oh, they're doing this, this, and this to me.
Yeah,
they're being really horrible to me," which we weren't, because we were just carrying on with our everyday lives. Like, we were.
The question is, why didn't we just take the phone wire out rather than?
That's a logical. I don't know.
But it was fine.
No, I didn't.
We didn't buy a new phone. We just taped that one up. It's fine. But anyway, it's not funny. The point is, we did go through a lot. There were some serious mental health that, we laugh at it. We are allowed to laugh at it because it was our lived experience. We're not laughing at anyone else's lived experience because we wouldn't do that. But this is our lived experience. We did actually, our coping mechanism was always laughing at the situation. We still have a laugh. But there was a lot of love there, right? Between our grandparents and us, because they did bring us up, essentially. When I started my period, the grandparents were there. They were the ones that looked after me. They were the ones that got me tea with ghee in it and cut me an apple and got me the gumball and all this sort of stuff. They brought us up, essentially. They were our parents. And this is where it's really interesting, because it is that circle of life. Because then when they obviously got old, and we looked after them, right? Sorry, I'm still thinking about the phone situation. I'll leave the rest to you because it's good memories. I mean, they might sound like bad memories, but at the time they were bad memories.
Yeah.
But that's part of our memories, good memories. But anyway, so that was that. Our parents. So I don't know if you want to add anything else.
No, like I said, we did go through a lot of stuff, but resilience.
There we are, resilience.
Yes.
And that's one thing. Actually, I was talking to one of my friends, and she said this. And, she was like, I don't know how to make my kids resilient, because she felt like there was a bit of a gap there. And actually, life happened, and they are now resilient kids. And it's nature. Life will happen, and you have no choice but to either do it or not do it. And the not do it could turn out to be very negative as well. So yeah, resilience. I agree with that. So what about our parents? Our grandparents came from Punjab. I was about 5, 6 when Granny came, and then Granddad came afterwards, and then they brought us up. But then it did help. Any child minding stuff, the housework and stuff, the grandparents would do it. Everyone mucked in, apart from the kids, apparently, from what you were saying. I can't remember that. But that's how households were made. And when they weren't there, it was actually friends that were relying on each other when our parents came.
This is what makes South Asians do well in, I'd say, like buying houses, doing this, because they depend on each other, or did. Not now, I'd say it's different. We had to depend on each other. The grandparents would muck in. Everyone would muck in and help each other. So the person that needed to go to work would go and get the money and work.
So there was more of a dependence, essentially, on each other.
Yep.
Now, our parents, obviously, they were of that generation where they were the first generation that came here, had to make the house, they had to build up that community, they had to get the kids educated so that we could get to the point where we could do a podcast and talk negatively about them. So it worked out fine. But they were very hardworking, right? So where are we now? Now our parents are grandparents. Now we've got our kids, right? One thing I'm finding is that sometimes if the grandparents want to watch something on TV, the kids want to watch something else, they will not sit together.
Forget about the grandparents. We do that as well. Every one of us is sitting in a different room. It's really bad, but we're doing it because all of us want to chill out.
No, see, we don't. I try to minimize that. We do have 2 TVs, and the kids do split, and sometimes we do that, but I do actually make them sit with me. Like yesterday, so my daughter and my husband were out, and me and my son were home, and I sat in the room that he was in, and then he was going to go in the other room because the skybox didn't work, right? And I'm like, hold on, I'm sat in here next to the radiator because it was cold. You can't go. You have to sit in here. And he was like, make the box work then. I mean, to be fair, I did make it work, which is surprising, but I did make him sit in there. And he was watching so much rubbish. Like, he was watching YouTube shorts, and I'm like, this is such a waste of your
No,
life.
but once you start watching it, you do, because I watch it in the morning with my son because I'm like, I need to be there and spend time with him.
Now you're just saying that because you sound like the bad parent.
No, in the morning I do, because in the evening I just want to chill out.
Yeah, fine.
And you do get sucked into it. And I'm like, what am I watching? But I'm watching it. Like, just show me the next one, show me the next one. And you get sucked into it. And it's so much rubbish. But anyway, let's go on to what we were talking about.
But yeah, so that whole thing of they will sit in separate rooms. Now, I'm not a massive fan, but I don't force it either. So I will then sit, for example, if my in-laws come around on a Sunday, for example, I will sit with them and then the kids are in the other room. But there is that disconnect. But I can't force the kids to watch something.
But do you know what it is? In life, now there's more options, there's more channels. There is not 1 to 4, 1 to 5.
There's still not anything to watch then. I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know. But anyway, there's more, you didn't have YouTube, you didn't have all the social media. That's what it is. I say to my husband, Jar Garlandi, when he's bought the PS5, meaning you bought poison at home, because it has split up the family.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's crazy. Yeah, go on, carry on.
I think the fact that we've got so many options, it's good that we've got the options, but then it's bad because it's splitting up the family. And it is doing that. We're not sitting around the table talking. We try to sit together when we're not all split up, but we try to force everyone together, and we have a program. We always watch TV. I know it's really bad parenting, but we'll sit down and we watch a program together. And it's really, we have one. We have one together that we can sit there and talk about.
But I agree. I mean, we've started to do, there's certain programs that we will watch together, and Apprentice is back on the TV. And we won't watch it on Thursday night because we know that the kids want to watch it. So we end up watching it on Friday night, because obviously that's what you do on Friday nights. You sit with your kids to watch The Apprentice, right? But it's actually, I agree, it is that thing. Last week, what happened actually was me and the husband are really bad because we do tend to sit with the laptop and do work whilst we're watching TV, like most people, right? Surely the whole world does that. But the kids did it as well. They pulled out some laptops, right? And we're like,
where did you get them from?
They're old laptops, so we were like, okay, that's fine, you can have them because
they're old.
Right? But they were sat there with the laptops and The Apprentice. I'm like,
what are they doing with the laptop?
I'm like, that isn't right. So we all ended up having to put the laptops away. I'm like, oh, now I won't get any work done.
I hate when kids do that.
Yeah, I know. But then you have to do it because it's the whole, I mean, I always say, do as I say, not as I do, essentially, but you have to show them. So yeah, we had to get rid of the laptops because they do just emulate basically what we're doing, right?
Yeah, they do. Like, now I am hardly on social media, and I thought I'd never be a point where I would be saying that. I hardly go on social media because what my kids were starting to say was, you're always distracted, you're not listening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the Christmas holidays, me and my son just sat there and watched loads of Jurassic Park, and he goes, Mum, we've never done this before, it was really fun. And I was like, oh my God, that's really bad that he's noticed that.
Oh, yeah, that is a bit annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so, but what about the gap? Because now we're the glue, but we've always been the glue.
We found out that the younger generation is finding it hard to connect with the older generation. One, the language.
Yeah.
Which is our fault.
And everything's our fault. We're parents. Everything's our fault.
Yeah, and two, we're not connecting. They don't know what to talk about. Whereas we would have had our grandparents would have told us stories. We would have listened. But I think the grandparents aren't telling the stories because they're like, the children aren't going to listen. So there's not so much of that that's happening now.
It's it is a tough one, but I don't blame either party. We'll have to just blame ourselves because that's all you do. It's like the parent guilt, right? But the problem is we're sort of stuck because you're dealing sometimes with two sets of children.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The stubbornness of the older generation and the stubbornness of the younger generation.
And literally, I remember, and sometimes it's a clash, and it's like, I can't deal with this. Like, this is ridiculous. And I have had situations, like, I remember on New Year's once, and everyone's talking. I'm like, I actually couldn't, it was like sort of too much overload. I was like, this isn't a fun time. But one thing I was talking to my friends about actually was football, right? I never used to know you do that. But actually, so my son really likes football and his granddad really likes football. and we end up watching it together. So although my daughter doesn't like it, but we make her sit there as well. She can sit on the laptop at that point. But it's that thing that joins. And I didn't ever think I'd say this, but football is actually a really good game to do that. It joins different generations, which is interesting, I thought.
So I think that's a nice way to end today's podcast about finding ways to connect.
Okay, so let's find ways to connect quickly.
So sports, telling each other stories of what happened back in the day or what's happening now. I think that's a good way to connect, and teaching our language to youngsters would be good as well. And to be honest, it's not like the older generation don't know English.
Yeah.
They can connect better in their own language.
I mean, I suppose the question is then maybe the grandparents should be speaking English then.
But I just said it's not because they don't know the language, it's that they can connect better.
This is another conversation though, because this is an argument of do they need to know those South Asian language? But we will leave that for another podcast. That's goodbye from me.
And that's goodbye from me.